Safe to say the biggest need heading into next season for the Green Bay Packers is on defense, right? The safety position. Who are they going to draft? How are they going to fill that need, especially when we have Jeff Hafley there on defense? Safety is the most important position out there, then middle linebacker for this Green Bay Packer team. So who are they going to draft? Who are they going to select? All of that. They get some clarity on a guy that they had pegged as an early draft selection. I had him early on my board. He under impressed. Who am I talking about? I'm going to break that down and give you my top three that I think the Packers should be going and getting when we start talking safety position, because it is the biggest need. Before I jump into it, if you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so the combine can be super fruitful and it can also be a curse. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Okay, so you've got some guys that were pegged to slide in, a third, fourth round, and then all of a sudden they go out on combine day, they ate their Wheaties, they get out there and they look super good, super athletic, and they just outperformed what their natural abilities even are. Then they get in the NFL and they flop. And then you've got guys that are just good athletes that go out there and they did the performance in college, and then they go out on combine day, and it's like that Jim Belushi SNL skit when he was training for the Olympics and he's eating a donut and smoking a cigarette. It is like that. And it is like you wonder, okay, did Cameron Kitchens go out there and do that? Because Cameron Kitchens, high on my board, high on the Packers board, he just did not go out there and look like the guy that everybody thought was out there. So what do I mean by that? He his performance, when we start talking about what his performance was in the combine, he ran a 4.65 in the 40, and then his athletic score overall was a 2.11 out of 10. So safe to say, I don't think the Green Bay Packers are going to be even taking a look at Cameron Kitchens anymore when we start talking about him in this draft. Okay, so I think the Packers, it's a good thing because they got some clarity. Cameron Kitchens, kind of a scratch off that board. I don't think he is going to be even considered when we start talking about that. A guy that I think is third. Okay, so a guy that's third on my board, a guy that's third could be on the Packers board. I don't know. But safe to say, I think he should be, one of the guys that the Green Bay Packers need to be looking at early. Who am I talking about? We're talking about Javon Bullard. Javon Bullard out of the University of Georgia. We've had some good luck going and drafting some guys out of Georgia over the last couple of years. Quay Walker, Devontae White, Eric Stokes, guys like that. So Bullard might be one of those guys that we go and select. I think personally, Georgia was the best team in college, and it's because of the athletes that are there. They were just loaded with athletes. Javon Bullard, one of those guys. I think the Packers it wouldn't be a bad thing if they went and got Bullard by any means. Okay. 5'11", 195 pounds, fits the mold that Jeff Hafley is looking for. Some of his career highlights: 10 tackles versus Auburn, 2 sacks versus Tennessee, 2 tackles for loss versus Tennessee, 2 interceptions versus TCU. Let's take a look at what Bullard, looked like in the combine. Quick feet. I know it's just these drills, but you can see the athleticism, the quickness, good hands, turns and looks back for the ball. You can just watch highlights of the guy in college. Does the same thing as he's showing right here in the combine. Javon Bullard would be third on my list of guys that I think the Packers need to target when it comes to the safety position. A guy that's number 2 on my list is a guy out of Washington State. We're talking about Jaden Hicks. Okay, so this guy, I know we all saw him play because we more than likely watched that game versus Wisconsin. Jaden Hicks is just a guy that I think has great closing speed on the ball. This is a guy that can go, not afraid of contact. Okay, so when you start talking about going against Allen on Wisconsin, he was not afraid of contact. Allen twice his size, and he just goes and gets it. This is a big boy, though. Jaden Hicks, 6'3", 212 pounds, just under that 215 threshold that Jeff Hafley wants to see at that safety position. He's got great closing speed. Again, the dude can tackle. Okay. So I think that's going to be super important when we start talking about this Packer defense. Something that, some guys struggled with. Jair Alexander, one of those guys. I can't stand the way that Jair Alexander tackles. He tackles with his shoulder. Jaden Hicks doesn't. He wraps up with his arms. This is a guy that would be number 2 on my list. I would be super excited if the Packers got a guy like Jaden Hicks. Jaden Hicks is one of those guys that you're just like, okay, man, what if he were in the hands of Jeff Hafley? What could Jeff Hafley do with this guy? I think he can do a whole lot. Okay, so again, 6'2", 211 pounds. He has the experience of playing deep. He has the experience of playing in the box and even in the slot. It would be super fun to see what Hafley could do with this guy. Okay, so that's my number 2 pick. My number 1 pick probably comes of no surprise because he's going to be number 1 on the Packers board. He's going to be number 1 on pretty much every person's board. Who am I talking about? Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota. Tyler Nubin, another big dude, 6'2", 210 pounds, just as big body. He is not afraid of contact, has great closing speed. He has everything that pretty much you're looking at. Go look at, some of the highlights that he's got, but again, right here, it's just to highlight one of, his career highlights. He's played in 55 games, set a program record of 13 picks, 207 tackles, 143 of those are solo, 4.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and broke up 24 passes, 4-time academic all Big Ten selection. Again, this is a guy that is an absolute stud. This is a guy that when you start looking at what Jeff Hafley is verbally saying he's looking for in the safety position, Tyler Nubin is that guy to a T. I think this is a guy that the Packers, if he falls to the Packers, this is a guy that they absolutely take. Here's a couple of highlights of him. Fires over the middle, great closing speed. Dude can hit. He is not afraid to lay out some guys. I think the Packers are looking for guys that can, like Jeff Hafley said, guys that look like their hair is on fire, can go from one end of the field to the next, but not afraid of contact, looking to really truly wrap up a guy, but lay him out, right? He's got great closing speed. What does that mean? So when a quarterback, when he has great vision for one. So when he sees the ball up in the air, he goes and lays out that receiver, that tight end, whoever that guy is, more times than not breaking up that pass. Tyler Nubin, number 1 on my list. Let's hope he is there when the Packers select. Go, Pack, go.